Good evening and welcome to the 2016-17 Montgomery College Athletic Awards Banquet. I'm Michael Brown from MCTV, and we are here to celebrate another fantastic year for MC Athletics. And we're here to honor all the fine student athletes, coaches, staff, students who made this all possible. As in past years, it's been my pleasure to be able to cover every MC team again this year. I feel very honored and happy to be able to do that. It's my pleasure to get to report on their achievements, their victories, and maybe best of all, to get to know some of these student athletes. They are super kids and they really work very hard. And let me tell you, they represent MC with class, We've seen the opposite this year out of some of our opponents, but our kids always kept their heads above what was going on. We have a very full agenda tonight. We have a lot of awards, special moments ahead, so we're going to get things rolling. And we're going to start by introducing and welcoming the Raptors' #1 fan, the president of Montgomery College, Dr. Darian Pollard.
Well, good evening, everyone. Oh, come on now. I think after a few years of this, we should have it together. So I'm going to try this again. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Thank you. This is your night. You all should be having fun. And more importantly, we want to be able to remember this evening as something that took place that was very special. And it's always very special for me to be here. And I want to follow up something that Michael said. I had the opportunity to attend several games and different events of our athletics program over the year. And I have to agree with you. There were some folks who came to our place and showed themselves. And you all always acted with dignity, with class. You got a little fired up every once in a while, and that's okay, because I was fired up too. But I think the reality about this is that you carried yourself in the way that I think Montgomery College should be reflected. So I want to thank you all very much for what you've done to make sure that you always represented this organization and the student body well and did it with grace and dignity. So I have a couple comments to make, and I think that one of the things that's really important to me is that the idea of teamwork is something that each of you has been a part of. Each of you, regardless of how your team placed in your conference or regionals, has accomplished a lot simply by testing your own physical and mental limits through academic and athletic endeavors. Competing in athletics is a marker of ambition and courage. It says something fundamental about who you are as a person and also how you choose to interact with the world. The athletes in this room are people who are not only content just to make it through life, you're driven to see how much you can demand of yourself and your body and your abilities and how you can work well with other people to accomplish that goal. You grind, you hustle, you sweat, you hurt from time to time, but more importantly, you go out there again and you leave it on the court, the field, the track, whatever the case may be. These are lessons that are critical for you in life. And athletes have a wonderful way about them as they engage in this, and you learn about your own strengths and weaknesses. Now, most of you probably know Howie Long, the professional football Hall of Famer who is a Fox NFL analyst. And I read an article recently where he made this statement, quote, "Sports ideally teach discipline and commitment. They challenge you and build character for everything that you do in your life." He also attended Villanova University, which tells you also that he valued education. In a short while, we're going to recognize those athletes who are excelling in some truly extraordinary ways. We have 13 student athletes who, in addition to being talented athletes, also earned 4.0 GPAs. In addition to these academic standouts, we have 44 student athletes who earned a GPA of 3.0 or greater. And I'm thrilled with the fact that you've coupled the idea of scholar and athlete and have done that so well even in the midst of very demanding schedules at MC and outside of MC. Now, I hope all of you know that accountability is very important to me as the president of this college. And I want Montgomery College to be accountable for its result, which is why we talk a lot about student success and have a scorecard that reflects student achievement. It's posted on our website and it tracks the achievement of students through arrival, progression, and then completion. And this is all actionable information that I think all of you should be aware about. And we're also spending more time now thinking about the successes and the ways in which the college can be supportive of our student athletes in reaching their goals and tracking that data. Because while you're here and you're phenomenal athletes and have done some outstanding things, you are students. And our goal is to make sure that you leave here prepared for the next step in your life, whatever that may be. Academic achievement is critical and is something that's measurable, just as your athletic achievement has been. And I hope that your experience at Montgomery College this year has been one where you have grown, you've stretched, you've learned something new about yourself that you didn't know, but most importantly, I hope that you knew that Montgomery College had your back all the time. Thank you for bringing spirit to this institution. Thank you for advancing the name and reputation of this institution in different places, but most importantly, thank you for bringing your best self each and every time you represented Montgomery College. Congratulations, good luck on finals, and I hope that you all have an absolutely wonderful summer, okay?
Thank you, Dr. Pollard. Very well said. Now, as Dr. Pollard alluded to, your success on the fields and on the courts, it doesn't happen if you don't get the job done in the classroom. Academic success and athletic success go hand in hand here, just like MC and the Raptor. So at this time, we want to recognize the outstanding academic achievements by our student athletes. First up are those who achieved a GPA of 3.0 or higher so far this year. Please stand up as I call your name so that we can recognize you and see who, put a name with a face, and remain standing until I've run through the list so that we can salute your success. All right, now we're starting with baseball. Unfortunately, baseball cannot be here tonight because they're playing right now in Hagerstown. But they had 3 students with 3.0 or higher: Naha Garcia, Christopher Amparo, and Josh Tejada. Men's track, we had Lud Blair, Justin Leonard, Destiny Peabody, Oliver Hightower, and Bob Okurajuzi. Softball, Susanna Weaver, Christine Mabry, I'm sorry, Christine. She could be at either table. And Gabriela Fernandez. Women's track, Kim Stamets, Esra Hassan, Jade Zhang. Men's soccer, Sebastian Soto, Chris Rivera, Leroy Muta, Juan Escobar, Luis Mesticelli, and Matthew Barriga. Men's basketball, Patrick Smith, Andre Hodo, Ramel Davidson, Andrew Kozier, and Shakana Mandua. Women's basketball, Alandra Bandy, Anu Bamijoko, Kiera Johnson, and Armani Lomax. Women's soccer, Jocelyn Flores, Alejandra Ramos, Jennifer Pineda, Rochelle Andino, and Veronica Funes. Volleyball, Lillian Miller, Alejandra Borja, Marlene Morales, Christiana Wilhelm Glob, and Nicole Rios. Let's hear it for these outstanding 3.0 students. Very impressive. All right. We also had a record number of outstanding student athletes who achieved a 4.0 GPA during the year. That's amazing, given how much time they put in practicing and playing games. So please join us up front as I call your name. Again, we had 3 guys from baseball, so they can't be here tonight. Aaron Brooks, Greg Brown, and Chase Preston. For softball, Aisha Abdullah. Come on up front, Aisha. Women's track, Julia Correas. And Katie Rose Turley. Come on, stay up here for a picture. We're going to put Justin to work. Or Dustin, I'm sorry. Men's soccer, Ryan Thron. And this is a repeater from last year, Arash Kamali. Women's soccer, Jamie Montgomery, Stefania Madrano, and Galen Hirabayashi. And finally, for volleyball, Caitlin Winans and Pam Ngando. I'm going to get all you guys to pose for a picture. Congratulations again. That's a fabulous achievement. Now, with all this academic success, the MC team with the highest overall GPA of the year was the women's volleyball team. Please stand up. All of you, stand up. Congratulations. All right, before we start dinner, we're almost ready, I do want to take a few moments to recognize some very special people who are here with us tonight. We're actually going to do this in 2 waves because I'm sure the athletes are ready to eat. We want to thank you for coming tonight, and most of all, we really appreciate your ongoing support of Montgomery College Athletics. So, first off, of course, we had Dr. Pollard, Dr. Monica Brown. I don't see Monica here at the moment, so hopefully she'll be here soon. I don't see Melissa. Darren Campen, College-wide Dean of Education. Clemmy Solomon, College-wide Dean of Student Engagement. Is Jamin here? Haven't seen Jamin. Okay. Dr. Tanya Mason, College-wide Dean of Success. Program, we want to say hello to acknowledge some more of our special guests that are here with us tonight. More great friends of the MC Athletic Program. First, Carmen Poston Travis. Okay. Janie McFadden. Janae, I'm sorry. Acting Associate Dean for Student Engagement at Tacoma Park. Ernest Cartledge, Director of Enrollment Services and the College Registrar. Gregory Enlow. Is Greg still here? Gail Wright, Professor, Counselor, Student Development. Harry Zarin, Counselor on the Germantown campus. Gus Griffin, Professor and Counselor on the Rockville campus. And Clifton McKnight, Counselor here on the Rockville campus. We want to thank you all for being with us tonight, and especially for your support for MC Athletics. Now it's time to meet all the MC coaches and players and hand out some very special awards. We're going to go by season, beginning with the fall semester. We're going to kick it off with women's soccer. And what a season this team had. They finished 17-3-1. They won the Maryland JUCO, going undefeated at 8-0. They won the Region 20 championship. They won the district championship. And they were number 2 in the nation in the final NJCAA poll of the year. We're not done. They traveled to nationals where they finished 4th by the narrowest of margins in the national tournament. Frankly, we were the best team. But I'm prejudiced. Justifiably, they won a ton of postseason awards. So please stand when I recognize you for your awards. Some of you are going to just remain standing. First of all, head coach Phil Nana was named the Maryland JUCO Coach of the Year. Very well deserved. Alejandra Ramos and Jamie Montgomery were both named first team NJCAA All-Americans. 2 first teamers. Alejandra and Jamie were joined by Natalie Alvear on the All-Maryland JUCO first team. And they were joined on the second team by Rochelle Andino, Jocelyn Flores, and Jennifer Pineda. Come on, come on. And then Andino, Ramos, Montgomery, Pineda, and Claire Couturier all made first team All-Region 20. While Alvear was named honorable mention, which was a joke. She should have been on the first team. We all know that. So, what a season. And to top it off, most of the sophomores are now moving on to 4-year schools to continue their education and in some cases continue to play. Jamie Montgomery is going to Northern Michigan. Martha Mulugeta is deciding between Towson and the University of Delaware. Claire Couturier is going to be a Terp. Rochelle Andino is going to Towson. Alejandra Alvarez is going to the University of Texas. Jennifer Pineda is going to be a Terp. Jocelyn Flores is deciding between CCNY, University of Maryland, Savannah College of Arts and Design. Natalie Alvear is going to be a Terp. Angela Patino is deciding between Nova Southeastern University, UMBC, and the University of Maryland. And Alejandra Ramos is deciding between University of Maryland and Nova Southeast University. So clearly, one of the most successful teams in the history of Montgomery College athletics. Here's head coach Phil Nana.
All right, where do I start? Call the team. Okay. Girls, everybody come up here, please. Please, can you guys do this for me? Come on, Pato, you too, man. You're part of the crew. So I know I only have a few minutes to come up here and explain how our season went. First off, I'd like to thank the coaching staff, Coach Pato at the end. One of our assistants who played here last year was the captain and MVP, Sonia Rada. Shout out, Coach. And of course, our wonderful manager, Innie, in the front right there. I would also like to thank a lot of the admins and people who get unrecognized, of course, the people that do the work behind the closed doors. First of all, I want to thank George Zuniga. I don't know where I would be without that guy right there. I would definitely like to thank Mrs. Sherry. I know I give her a headache day in and day out, but thanks for putting up with me. And most of all, I want to thank Coach G. She's more than just the athletic director to me. She's actually truly a mentor to me, and I would not be here if it wasn't for her. So, greater for thanks, Coach G. I really appreciate it. As far as the girls, the ladies, sorry, in our season, we had a very eventful season. One of the best seasons I've experienced, not just as a coach, but as a player. A lot of highs and lows. If I could describe our season in a short phrase, I would say, and it's a phrase every coach says to their players say it to each other, it's blood, sweat, and tears. I think that embodies what our season was about. We went through a lot of adversity, faced the blood part, losing our top striker, one of the best players in our team. She couldn't be here because she's getting surgery right now, Jamie Montgomery. She averaged like 4 goals a game, and that's unheard of in soccer. So losing her the game right before going to the regional tournament was definitely a huge adversity the girls had to face. And they did superb. Players stepped up. Martha stepped up. A lot of players stepped up and filled in her stead, and they did incredibly well. We went through a lot of sweat. As most of you guys know, I played here at MC, went on a 4-year school, played a little bit of pro. Everything that we learned from the coaching staff from a high level, we gave to these girls. And we just didn't give it to them as girls in college learning to play the game. We gave them, you guys are competing at the highest level, so we're going to treat you guys like professionals. And that, to me, was probably the easy part. They passed with flying colors. Tough as nails, these girls. And the last were the tears. Oh boy, did we cry this season. I knew coming into the season there'd be lots of tears. One of my first experiences as a coach was walking to the office, seeing a girl just crying because she loved the game so much. She didn't want to leave her teammates, and I knew taking this job, I would face a lot of tears. But contrary to my belief, it was kind of crazy to figure out who was crying at the end. As I also came to the season thinking I would teach these girls a lot about the game of soccer, but quite frankly, they taught me a lot about life. I think one thing that we both learned mutually was everybody can change. If you have the right mindset, if you have a goal and you're determined, you can be anything, anyone, whatever you want to be, you can get there. A lot of these girls were given a second chance here by coming to MC. Some of them didn't think they would play soccer again in their life, and here they are, undefeated, regional champs, district champs, all of the above, going to 4-year schools, making everybody proud. So I just want to let these girls know, thank you so much for this season. You guys definitely changed my life. I look at life from a different light now, and I just want to say, you guys made everybody proud, made the school proud, made the program proud, and most of all, made the community proud. So thanks a lot to MC. The slogan, Endless Possibilities, is true in our book. Thank you so much. Oh yeah. Last but not least, the rock of the team, the girl who didn't think she had what it took to put the team on her back. This girl, when I talk about the tears, she had a lot of tears in my office. I put a lot of pressure on her as a coach, and I mean, she came out outstanding. She led the team, she led everything, and we wouldn't be here without her. And Ale Ramos, this is well deserved, our MVP.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. All right. Now let's turn to men's soccer. This team turned in another very quality season. They finished 13-8-1 overall. They were 8-3-1 in Maryland JUCO, good for third place, and they narrowly lost in the finals of the Region 20 tournament, just missing a trip to nationals. And they also enjoyed their share of postseason awards. And please stand when I recognize your achievements. Sebastian Soto was named first team All-Maryland JUCO, while Jason Davila, Juan Maraboli, and Brian Reyes Aranda were all named to the second team. And Jason Davila, Reyes Aranda, and Arash Kamali were all named first team All-Region 20, while Juan Maraboli and Alexander Avalos were named to the second team, and Soto was named honorable mention. And so far, two of our Raptors, it was a very young team this year, but two of our Raptors have committed to continuing their education at the four-year level. Arash Kamali is headed to American U, and Leroy Muta is headed to Philadelphia University. Head coach Trey Livingston was unable to be with us tonight, so I'm going to turn things over to assistant coach Jose Hernandez. And if the team could come up with the coach, please.
Can everybody hear me? All right. My name is Jose Hernandez, and I'm the assistant coach for our men's soccer team. First, I would like to thank God for allowing me the opportunity to coach for Montgomery College. I would like to call up our captains, Brian, Chris, and Ryan Thrawn. Just step over here to the side. It was my pleasure coaching you gentlemen, and I thank you for all your hard work, commitment, and the sacrifices that you have made to play while taking classes. Ladies and gentlemen, if you need a singer, by the way, if you need a singer, we have, for any special occasions, we have our center back, Alejandro Avalos. He knows every song you could think of, and he was our entertainment for our season and every bus ride. Alejandro, raise your hand. There you go, that's him. For the players who are leaving, I wish you the best of luck, and know that you can call Coach Trey and me anytime for help. I hope you use the positive memories that you have gathered from Montgomery College and apply them to the next chapter of your lives. You know what it takes to win and lose. Winning requires hard work, commitment, being a positive team member, and perfecting your craft. Go and chase your dreams, whatever it is in life, but know pursuing your dream will not be easy, and it will only get more difficult. Don't be afraid to ask for help, because You have coaches like us who are here for you and will help you any way we can. I will talk about some of our struggles that we had in our fall season. For any team to be successful, all players must put the team first. And that was a hurdle that we had that took some time to overcome. Many of our players were committed, focused, had great work ethic during practice and games. The first half of the season, positioning and mental awareness was another obstacle that we had to overcome, and our record was a reflection of that. Aside from the dynamic of our team, we had problems finishing. Many of our games were tight, and we couldn't put some games away. Personally, some of the teams that we played against weren't superior than us. Some teams were just able to capitalize on the opportunities. Occasionally, our players did too much individually instead of playing as a unit, which we were capable of doing, and we missed out on many opportunities because of individual play. I'm almost done. Overall, we had a great team. Our players were technically gifted. We had some great moments, winning in tight games in overtime. We came in second in our region, and we finished with an overall record of 13 wins, 8 losses, 2 ties. On behalf of Coach Trey Livingston and myself, we would like to thank the Montgomery College staff, Ms. Sherry, Ms. Tarlew, George Rockville coordinator, Mike Simeone, who's in charge of the social media, Mike Brown, who manages the MCTV. Thank you very much. Our strength and conditioning coach, Will, the president of Montgomery College, and Ms. Carey, our trainer, who came out to all of our games and prepared our players for our games and took care of their injuries. And last, our goals for our next season will be very simple. We will be selecting players who set high standards for themselves and want to be part of the Montgomery College men's soccer team. We want players who are committed to their craft, we are seeking players who accept and apply the advice we give them on how to become a well-rounded collegiate player and student. For the players who will be here next season, remember our overtime win against our rivals, PG, when Sebastian Soto received the ball on the left flank, looked up, hit a beautiful upper 90 goal, and we all stormed the field. You all worked hard to win that game. Over 90 minutes of running, hard tackles, and great saves from our goalkeeper. Now let's replicate that game with different opponents next season and take the season by storm. And our MVP for the season, Sebastian Soto.
All right, Coach, thank you. Congratulations on a good year. Looking forward to next year. All right, up next, women's volleyball. And this was a bit of a rebuilding season for volleyball under a brand new head coach, Tori Keno. She took over right before the season started. Tori is, of course, also an MC alum. But I know that the future is bright under her guidance. They finished under 500 for the season, but they played very well in the very tough Maryland JUCO Conference. And at the end of the season, and please stand as I call your name, they did receive a couple of postseason honors. Audrey DePoco and Ruby Barreto were both named first team All-Region 20. And look out for this coming year. I got a feeling once Coach Keno has had a full year to train her team and recruit, you're going to see a vastly improved program next year, no question about it. And now, here's Coach Keno and the women's volleyball team. We'd like you to all come up.
All right, it's tough to follow soccer when they both had awesome seasons, but We started off the season, I came in as a new coach, we only had 2 sophomores returning and we had 10 new freshmen, so I had a very young team. None of them had really played together before, but they all came together and they worked really hard. We finished 5-6 in the conference, 5-12 overall, and although the record doesn't really show it, they worked very hard at every practice and every game. They showed a lot of heart and determination, and they never really gave up. They also had to deal with a lot of adversity. I'm not exaggerating when I think everyone except maybe 2 players weren't hurt at some point during the season. And towards the end of the season, we had both sophomores hurt. And they were keys to our offense, and all the freshmen really had to step up. They were playing positions they didn't have to play before, and they weren't comfortable, but they knew that was what was best for the team. So they stuck with it and worked hard, and I'm very proud of these girls for how well they fought during the season, and I'm also very proud of how they did academically in the classroom. I never had to worry about them going to study hall. When they couldn't go, they were texting me or texting George trying to figure out when they could go in and do their 3 hours, so that was really nice. I didn't have to worry about that. And as mentioned before, they finished with a team GPA of 3.0, so good for you all. I want to thank Coach Dan. Without him, I would have been a mess. There was lots of things I didn't know, and no matter when I called him or kept him after practice or before practice, he helped answer all my questions. Same thing with Coach G. I texted her all the time, and they were probably stupid questions I should have known the answer to, but she answered them, and even if I asked her the same question more than once, she helped me out. Same with Sherry. I know I drove her nuts sending her emails asking questions. And thanks to all the athletic staff, George, Romy, thanks for announcing and doing the music at the games, Miss Carey for taking care of all our injuries. You all helped a lot and made my first year a lot easier than it could have been. It could have been a lot worse, so thank you. And our MVP for the season, she worked very hard in practice. She spoke up when she needed to. She led by example. And even when she was injured, she came to practice. She helped out any way she could. And she finished with 65 kills and 25 blocks, and that was Audrey. Oh, we have to take a picture.
Thank you, Coach. Great job. All right, next up is cheerleading. Now, we count on this team to add spirit and excitement and fun to MC games, and they always deliver. And I think maybe this year more than any year that I've been around, this was an outstanding team this year. I got to tell you, they performed some death-defying routines. I couldn't believe what I was seeing at times. I know I talked about it when we did basketball games on MCTV. But they always fired up the crowd. They had a great year. And during the year, they also entered a cheer competition called Cheer for Charity, and they won second place. So let's meet head coach Dana Hinton.
Yeah, Coach D!
Yeah! Woo!
Thanks, guys. Good afternoon, everyone. There's so many things that I could say about this team. First, I'm going to start off thanking the administration. Thank you, George, specifically for all the things that you've done for the team and for me. Building a new team, this is our second year, has been an event. Positive, demanding, a learning experience, to say the least. But all of these athletes have rose to the occasion and made this year more than I could have ever hoped it to be. I got my little list here. I want to thank my assistant coach, because she was more than an assistant. She was more like the team's coach. Erica, she's somewhere over there. Erica was there when I couldn't be, there to support me, there to support the team. The team called her on weeknights for homework advice, life advice. She was everything that assistant could ever be, so I'm super grateful for her, and thank you for being here for me and with me. So I'd also like to thank Doug, who was our manager.
Yeah,
This man was so excited for the cheerleaders. He was the cheerleaders' cheerleader. He was at all of our practice. He took videos of us. He took pictures of us. He kept our spirits high. When somebody would get injured, he would fill in for us. So he was just pretty much everything that we needed him to be and more. So just had to say special thanks to Doug. I wanted to give another special thanks to Christy. Christy, you took care of all of my girls this year, and we wouldn't have got through the season without you. So I just wanted to know that you were very special to us. So thank you for all that you did for the team. Most importantly, I'd like to thank the team themselves. They put up with a lot this year. Like I said, with building a new team, we didn't have uniforms for the first couple of months. We were getting resources and just trying to stay on top of things. Girls were decorating t-shirts and shorts in their living rooms and just trying to make sure that things were together. So I cannot thank them enough. They worked very hard. Out of the 14 that we started with, 10 actually competed with us. And out of those 10, 3/4 of the team were brand new to cheerleading. And in college, as a cheerleader, that's kind of unheard of, and they all rose to the occasion. They competed against Towson University and got second, and that was a feat within itself, because if anybody's seen Towson cheerleaders, they are amazing. And so they performed really well there. Janice, where are you? Janice got second in the jump off for her amazing skills. And James, who was not here, got third in the jump off at that same event. We prepared for our competition within 3 weeks worth of time. Most professional and collegiate cheerleaders learn 6 weeks, and we did it in 3. So I am super proud of them, and I cannot wait for the team next year, because I know that it's going to be even bigger and better and more. And last thank you to all of our student athletes, for those who came to our competition to support us, for those who came and were just supportive during games and super positive and kept the girls' spirits high. We wanted to say a special thank you to you, and we appreciate you for that. And to our MVP. This young lady came actually late in the season and rose above and beyond to help her team. She recruited for us. She choreographed for us. She did, everybody's like, who is it, who is it? She did so much for me and Coach Erica as far as organizing the team with cheers and material, just keeping things going and preparing for next season. So our MVP this season is Sammy Barone.
Go ahead, Sammy. Go ahead, Sammy.
I know, right?
Thanks, Coach. All right, let's now we move into winter sports, basketball, and first up, men's basketball. And this team had a terrific season, playing very shorthanded at times. They finished an inspiring season with a record of 21-10. They were 8-6 in Maryland JUCO. They won the Region 20 championship with a gutsy win over Prince George's. And they finished second in the districts, narrowly missing a trip to nationals. Now, to add some luster to the season, a number of Raptors earned postseason honors. So again, I'm going to ask you to stand as I call your name. Pat Smith was named the Maryland JUCO Player of the Year, and was also named first team All-Maryland JUCO. And Pat and Frank, AKA Andre Hodo, were both named First Team All-Region 20. Come on, Andre. And so far, 4 Raptors have committed to continuing their education and playing career at four-year schools. Pat Smith is headed to Mercyhurst University, Andre Hodo to Southern Vermont, Jawan Wayne to Southern Vermont, and Isaac Aquara to Point Park University. And now here's head coach Keith Bird and all the Raptors. Come on up, guys.
Come on, guys. Come on. Here we go. We're going to make it. Okay. Okay. This is different that you got. Well, really quick, one thing I want to start off by, I really want to thank the cheerleaders. I want to thank them because many times, I want to thank them and I want to acknowledge them because during the game, to have them, if it's 5 people in the gym and they're there and they're cheering, we totally appreciate you guys throughout the season. Totally. Secondly, I'd like to acknowledge my assistant coaches, Thomas Treadwell, Jamal Wise, and Coach Elliott Haley, who's not here, but he also helps us tremendously with my guys, especially during study hall and so many other things. Also, I'd like to thank the coordinators. Real quick, I want to thank George, and I want to thank Michael, who's not here. I want to thank Sherry for continuing to, this is year number 2, and I tell you, it's one person you can call and she'll pick up and have an answer for you. And so I just want to thank you, Sherry, for throughout the season just being a great support to us. And the last person I'd like to acknowledge is our trainer. Our trainer is amazing. Her first year, we got introduced to her early in the season. And she jumped right in like she was just part of the family. And it was just perfect to have her. So, Christy, we thank you so much. We have our captains, really quick. I just want to acknowledge Patrick was our captain, was one of our captains here. Do we have another captain here? Patrick was our captain here. He's his second year serving as a captain for the basketball team. Let me just say, this team was different than, last year was my first year. This team was different than last year's team from the beginning. This team came in with setting goals. And not many times do you have a team who come to you and they say, Coach, we have goals that we want to do. By this, and when you're bringing in 12 new players to a team, it's good to see that they're willing to make goals for themselves and can see as far, especially young people, when you're dealing with young people, for them to see as far outside of September and see where they want to be in March. And they told me in September that what they wanted to do. And at that time, with 12 new players, I was hoping that we were going to achieve that. And when I tell you this, when we rolled through November, when we rolled through December, we had 10 games in December, almost playing every other day. And then we went to January, and then we went to February. I finally looked over to my assistant coaches, and I said, these guys really, they're serious. When I tell you, this was one fun group to coach because everything they said they would do, they did. For my second year, for us to win regional championships against a team that we lost a regional championship to last year, it was just a great thing to do. So I just want to acknowledge these guys and just say, great job, and hopefully we can continue to build on that. And also, and I don't want to miss this, it's always good to have always going away on away trips because you got a chance to sit down with your athletic director and you got a chance to talk with her. And I tell you, it is the greatest support that I can have. And I'm so thankful to have Coach G too. So I think we're at the most valuable player point. I've been fortunate. I'm one thing I can tell you I'm happy about. My phone is going to slow down from ringing because I've had at nearly, last time I count, I had over 30 colleges call me about Patrick. Yeah, I even had 2 coaches call me last week about him. And I tell you, He's the best coach, best player you want to have when you're coming in your first year. And for him to come back the second year was amazing to have. I can remember the first time I seen him walk in my gym. And it's hard for me to see him walk out of this gym today because after having him for 2 years. But here's a player that's won 44 games in 2 years. And he has worked hard every game. And if any of you who've been to any of the games, it is a challenge to get him to come out of a game. So I hope that I have a chance to coach a player like him again. But I tell you, if you guys see him play, you already know. All right, so with no further ado, Patrick Smith is our MVP.
Amen. 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 Microphone right there. Can I say something? No. Oh, amen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. One other note on Pat Smith. He was also the winner of MC's Got Talent, that competition about a month ago. So I'm not sure there's anything this guy can't do. So congratulations, Pat. And now, moving on to women's basketball. And what a terrific season for Coach Gasquet's team. They were so young, but that didn't stop them from posting a 22-6 record, 10-2 in Maryland JUCO, good for second place. They won the Region 20 championship when they blew the doors off PG by 29 points. And they finished second in the districts, just missing a trip to nationals. Along the way, the Raptors earned a number of awards, and again, please stand up when I call your name. Freshman Kalima Johnson was named Maryland JUCO Student Athlete of the Month for January. And Armani Lomax was named First Team All-Maryland JUCO. Kalima Johnson, Second Team, and Cherie Addison, Honorable Mention. And all three of them, Armani Lomax, Kalima Johnson, and Cherie Addison, were named First Team All-Region 20. Here's head coach, Tarla Gasquet.
Okay, ladies, come up, come up, come up. Unfortunately, my assistant coaches, Patrick Carden and Lakeisha Nickens-Gaither, couldn't make it tonight, but I'd like to thank them in their absence for their dedication and support this year. Basketball is a long season, so it takes a lot to hang in there. Our team captains this year were Jewel Johnson, Cherie Addison, both are not here, and Armani Lomax. I'd like to thank them for their leadership. This was a very young team with only 2 sophomores. We had a great season where we were respected in our conference, which is comprised primarily of Division I and Division II teams in our region. A testament to that is only 5 players can make the first team or region team, and 3 of Montgomery College's players made it this year. Ladies, I'm proud of what we accomplished this year. Even though we fell short at the districts actually, missing the national tournament by 1 game. The good thing is, we're young, so the majority of you are coming back. We've got unfinished business in the upcoming year, and I expect a national championship. Now it's time to finish strong in the classroom. This year we have co-MVPs. First one is Kalima Johnson. Kalima averaged 20.7 points per game, 18 in the country, 9.6 rebounds, 3.5 assists per game, was almost 33% from the three-point line, and she was third in the country in steals, averaging 5.5 per game. The next MVP is Armani Lomax. Armani averaged 22.1 points per game, 11th in the country, 8.4 rebounds per game, 3 assists per game, and she was 9th in the country in steals with 3.7 steals per game. I'm coming to take a picture with y'all. Thank you, ladies. I appreciate all of you. Okay. You want to say anything?
What's that?
You want me to say anything? Do softball?
I'll go right into baseball.
Okay. We're going to talk about softball. George? Usually the head coach does this part of the team presentation. However, I need to recognize the coaches and the team tonight. Early in the season, I was informed that softball didn't have enough players to field the team. In an effort to ensure that we could meet our conference schedule, I set out to recruit players by making phone calls and asking student athletes from other teams to help out. In addition, I was fortunate to make contact with 2 individuals, head coach Dan Keno, please stand. And I don't know, is Coach Mabry here? Okay. They both jumped in quickly and served diligently as head and assistant coaches. Those 2 coaches and volunteer assistant coach Dwayne Coxum, is he here? Were key in recruiting the remaining players. We had to start the season later, so that meant we needed to reschedule our games to later, thereby creating a very rigorous schedule of 3 to 4 doubleheader games a week. Many of the players had never played softball in their life, but as I went to each game, I saw them improve and have fun even though they were not winning games. There was no negativity towards the opposing team. In fact, while waiting for the umpires before one game, they joined with the opposing team and danced to the music played by our announcer. What was so commendable was when their last game of the season was canceled due to weather, they were genuinely disappointed, asking for a reschedule. Now, sportsmanship is defined as the conduct and attitude of participants in sports, especially when considered commendable, as in fair play, courtesy, and grace in losing. When athletes go beyond the game, they look outside of what it takes to win a game, but decide to be a good teammate, good opponent, and good person. Ladies, I'd like for all of you to come up with your coach, please. Let me talk first. Ladies, you have represented MC well and exemplified sportsmanship and are therefore the recipients of the first Athletic Sportsmanship Award. So, Coach, can you call each player's name, and George will give them, I have a little token for each one of you.
Christine Mayberry.
Mabry.
Armani Lomax. Aisha Abdullah. Gabriela Hernandez. Debbie Avilas. Erica Cruz. Kate Kim. And Susanna Weaver.
So for the softball, we also have co-MVPs. This year, they are Aisha Abdullah. She even pitched a bunch of games there. And Christine Mabry. Thank you, ladies, for all that you did.
Thank you.
All right. Now we're turning to baseball, and as I mentioned earlier, the baseball team cannot be here because, well, probably by now they're on their way back from Hagerstown, but they played Hagerstown today at 3 o'clock. So that's why they're not with us tonight. Now, this is probably the youngest Raptors team that I can ever remember Dan Rasher having. But they are battling, and at the moment, depending on today's outcome, they're just over 500 at 23 and 22. They have today's game, then they have a doubleheader coming up on Saturday, and that will conclude the regular season for them. And then they will defend their Region 20 championship starting next weekend at Prince George's. The Raptors have won 9 Region 20 championships in the last 11 years, so we're hoping that they'll make it 10 out of 12 this year. And then, of course, if they should win Region 20, they would host the division or the district championships the following weekend at the Germantown campus. And of course, the winner of the districts then heads to the World Series. So we're hoping for the best for the Raptors when it comes to that. All right, and I just got word that the MVP for the baseball team is sophomore first baseman and pitcher Greg Brown. Who, if you remember, was one of the 4.0 students that we recognized earlier tonight, so quite an accomplishment. All right, now let's move on to track and field. And for me, it's so exciting to see what's happened with this program over the last few years. Every year, since Jamal Schools has taken over the program has just gotten better and better. Every year they send a strong contingent to nationals, and every year it seems like they end up in the top 10 in the NJCAA. This year they're sending another talented group. I believe Jamal told me 15 athletes will be going to nationals, competing in over 18 events. Nationals are next weekend, and if you're looking for something to do next Saturday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, or no, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it's going to be right up the road at Howard Community College. And if you've never been to a track meet, it's a lot of fun. It's something going on every moment, multiple things going on. Drives a guy like me crazy because I'm running from one event to the other, but it really is quite a spectacle, and it's going to be right up the road at Howard Community College. So we wish them the best. Before I turn it over to Jamal, I do want to recognize, and I want you to stand as I call your name, that a number of athletes on the track and field team have already committed to four-year schools. Katie Rose Turlick is going to UNC Chapel Hill. Lud Blair is going to Newberry College. Brad Evans is going to North Greensville University. Corey Hamilton, I can't believe he's actually going to leave here, is going to Hampton University. Noelle Hernandez is going to Gallaudet. Devontae Johnson, Delaware State University. And now, here's their head coach, Jamal Schools.
All right, guys, come on up. An update, Lud Blair got accepted academically to the University of Maryland. So, everybody come up. Everybody. You guys can stand on both sides. So real quick, randomly, and I'm probably gonna get clowned at practice tomorrow, but as I was kind of laying in bed, I just thought of a few words that I want to express that kind of represents our team. I don't want to call it a poem, but it's just a few words. A flower in the shade. A seed nurtured with the proper fertilizer, sun, and plenty of water is all it needs. Sometimes neglected in the shadows of all of the spotlight and excitement that goes on in the sun, a flower in the shade still grows. It is something that has to deal with all the temperatures and conditions, but no matter what, it still stands tall. At the end of it all, a flower in the shade is still loved by people and used for its elegance, and that's what and why we love track and field, because we're like the flower in the shade. Just like Coach G said, but I'm gonna have to up the ante on that one. Track and field is a long season as well. We start from October 1st, and we got nationals next week. Through the snow, wind, cold, rain, sunshine, we're out there doing it. With a short schedule, that's pretty much a month long. And for someone who can train for that long period of time and run for merely 10 seconds to up to 4 minutes, that's a lot of dedication and hard work to me. During the ups and downs, fighting through the conditions, like I said, which can affect one's performance, we still did it without any complaints, and we had to fight through it to kind of get where we are now. Yeah, you might win an event or two, but during the season, it's the love and the dedication you got to have to do what we do that kind of brings that satisfying moment to bring success. It's not always about, the medals and the glory. It's about, the accomplishments that we've endured throughout the way. Competing against pretty much all scholarship athletes from, the D2 to D1 levels, we never back down and we always leave our mark. There was never a track meet that no one knew about a member of our team. There's not one student or student athlete up here that didn't approve at their runs, throws, or jumps at all. I'm not going to call every event, but like Mr. Brown was saying, we have 13 different events from the women's side and 15 on the men's side that is going to compete at national level. 18 of which are ranked in the top 10, and of that 18, 6 are ranked in the top 3 for the national championships. Lastly, I want to thank everyone who has supported Montgomery College Track and Field. Coach G, Miss Carey, Chrissy, Sherry, George, thanks. And I also want to give a shout out to my captains and team leaders who helped me keep the team rolling. Special shout out to all the unattached members, because without you, you guys won't kind of give that push to the first or second year guys that are still here. In addition to you kind of still compete yourself unofficially. Shout out to Coach Andre. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it tonight, who has been a huge asset to our program. And again, most importantly, the track team. Regardless of how I felt from a long day at work, the weather, whether something was going on with an excuse you had at, about I got to miss practice because X, Y, and Z. Just asking questions about how my day's been, asking how my wife is. Once in a while, she'll swing through practice and say hello and thanks, because a lot of these guys kind of help out with the local rec that she runs. I just want to say you always put a smile on my face, or pretty much with you putting a smile on my face, it kind of put a lot of things in the forefront on what's important in life. Sometimes it's not just about, what you have to do in life. It's just about, the love and the commitment that you guys have put forth amongst each other, most importantly, but, within our community as well. So thank you for that. Lastly, but I want to say, besides the fact that, we're looking forward to bringing home some hardware next week, I'm definitely looking forward, and with the guys and the girls, with a lot of the support, I'm looking forward to putting on my running shoes as well, because May 16th, I'm expecting baby schools. So I want to introduce the MVPs for the women. She pretty much would do whatever I asked. She's qualified in multiple events, both field and running. She's just a hard worker, very knowledgeable of the game. And I just want to say thank you and keep up the hard work. Alyssa Moran. For the guys, same thing, very knowledgeable, second-year athlete. Our team captain. It's kind of soft-spoken, but at the same token, he got his point across, whether it was, just demonstrating the hard work and the dedication on the track himself, or just maybe pulling you aside to give you a word of advice. And like I said, I congratulated him for his academic achievement to the University of Maryland. And, I look forward to seeing him run, hopefully, at the University of Maryland. And thanks to our MVP for the guys, Lud Blair. He's also our security of the track team.
Thanks, Coach. I'm looking forward to joining you up at Howard Community College next week. So those are your 2016-17 Montgomery College teams and their coaches. Let's hear it one more time for this outstanding group of student athletes and coaches. All right, before we announce our big awards, our male and female student athletes of the year, I certainly hope that everybody in this room, and I'm sure you do, recognizes that it would be impossible for us to host MC athletic events if we didn't have a dedicated team of student workers. Believe me, I've been to a ton of games this year. In the cold, the rain, the heat, and the staff of student workers is always there, making it happen. They're taking care of the fields, they're calling the lines, they're running the scoring table, they're setting up, they're hauling the gear out to Soccerplex. You name it, they do it. And our athletic program would be lost without them. So I'd like all of our student workers to please stand so that we can properly thank you and recognize you for your contributions. Thanks again, all of you. You really work hard. It's amazing. And now it's time to announce our Outstanding Student Worker Award for the past year. And this year we have two recipients, Noelle Hernandez and Jessica Ingame. Please join us up front. Both of these student workers went above and beyond the entire school year to ensure that game day operations ran as smoothly as possible. The department relied heavily on their work of these two outstanding students. They were present, get this, they were present at every soccer, basketball, volleyball, softball game, and every tournament that we hosted. They put in long hours at multiple event locations. Intense game pressures, weather, and physical exhaustion were just some of the obstacles that they had to overcome. And they exhibited the utmost in professionalism and dedication. Thank you both. And now we have reached the ultimate moment of our evening. We're just seconds away from finding out who will be our male and female student athletes of the year. Here's interim MC Athletic Director Tarla Gasquet to introduce the honorees.
Okay, the recipients of the Student Athlete of the Year awards have excelled in the classroom and their sport. So they've exemplified the true meaning of student athlete. Our female Student Athlete of the Year is Alejandra Ramos. Alejandra was named to the All-Maryland JUCO First Team 2 years in a row. This year, she was named to the 2016 All-American First Team. She had in this year, she was third in assists, fifth in shots in Maryland JUCO, scored 13 goals, with 2 of them being winning goals. She had 10 assists, 64 shots, scored 36 points. And she's maintained a 3.0 throughout her career at Montgomery College. And as we know, she's making a decision as to where she's going to continue her education. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Come on. Now, the male Student Athlete of the Year is Mr. Smith. Patrick is a 2-time Maryland JUCO rebounding leader. He scored over 1,000 points, recorded over 800 rebounds in just 2 years at Montgomery College. He currently holds a cumulative GPA of 3.67. He's a 2-time first-team All-Maryland JUCO recipient. In his freshman year, he was named the 2016 Maryland JUCO Player of the Year. As mentioned earlier, he also won MC's Got Talent. Patrick has been offered scholarships by more than half a dozen Division I colleges, more than a dozen Division II colleges, with both academic and athletic scholarships. He's committed to Mercyhurst, boy, I was waiting for that decision, on a full athletic scholarship. Patrick.
We have a special gift for Pat. This is a basketball presented by your head coach, Keith Bird, to commemorate scoring 1,022 points and 873 rebounds in 50 years.
You know, it is an extreme honor. It is
such a great honor, especially I've just been blessed to have two great point guards in D'Angelo and Chris Johnson. I mean, none of this is possible without them and without the team. So it's really not me. It's all a reflection of them, and I appreciate just being the face of the hard work that everybody has put in. So it is an honor. It is an extreme honor. Next, I am going to Mercyhurst in Erie, Pennsylvania. I will be a Mercyhurst Laker. So studying music education, and I am real excited for the next chapter. MC has really just afforded me the opportunity to excel in every area and to really just get involved. There's so many clubs, there's so many shows, there's so many events going on, and all you have to do is just go and get involved, and this experience is really what you make it. Like they provide everything for you. You just have to put in the time and go for it, and I am grateful. It has been amazing. I can't. This year has been beyond my wildest dreams. So this 2 years, I am getting a little sentimental. You know, I'm truly going to miss MC. This has been probably 2 of the greatest years of my life. So
it feels really good. I wasn't expecting it at all. I just feel like all the hard work I put into it really showed off, and I couldn't have done it without the team, so I'm really happy. Well, it's been a journey. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of effort has to put into the school side and the athletic side, so it has to be kind of equal for both. Like, you have to manage your time wisely. You have to ask for extra help. You always have to go the extra mile. So for me, I'm still deciding between 2 schools, Nova Southeastern. I'm going to try out for the team in the next week, so we'll see. And then UMD as well, I will be trying out, so we'll see.